Hi everyone, thanks once again for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at the lead arm in the golf swing. I'm going to use a 3D animation of a PGA Tour player to highlight movement that I feel would be helpful to be aware of for most golfers out there. Then we'll take a look at as well how straight the arm stays back and through. That's often one common misconception that I notice players try to attain that is unhelpful for their movement, unhelpful for delivery. Just being aware of good movement around the lead arm, I find is really helpful for delivery, and also being able to move through to a nice balanced finish, achieve more speed, decelerate the club well, and just overall just be a very good area just to be aware of. So hopefully this one helps you with your game. Okay, so for those of you who watched the hand path through impact that I posted a couple of videos ago, I think you're going to find this helpful, and you're going to be able to tie together a few little bits here, because you really require that lead arm to work a certain way through impact to allow the hand path to move left, as I showed in that video with a PGA Tour player. And oftentimes when I see that left arm stays too straight at setup, on the way back, on the way through, you'll see how the body then gets pushed back and you lose control of the face. You're going to see a lot of activity through the wrist and the hands. So let's put up the PGA Tour player now. I'm just going to go over a couple of different areas of the swing. So let's start with setup, and you'll see that in the setup position, the player here has a value of 158 degrees through his lead elbow. So what that's showing there is that the elbow isn't dead straight. That would be 180. There's a little bit of flexion there in the elbow. And if I go from that setup position to the top, you'll see that at the top there's a little bit more flexion. So it's actually, as he's moved from address to the top, it's bent a little bit more. Okay, so if we go just back to the address position, when I see a player really lock that left arm out, typically when I see a player very fixed and very tense through their arms, it's to create the sense of stability to translate to the face. However, it doesn't really work that way. What would be a better sense of stability, or what would provide more stability to the face, would be to actually get the player standing in a way to where the control was more through the scaps, rather than trying to, and scaps, the core, the rib cage, be more stable with the bigger segments, rather than trying to really fix out the arms to try and create that stability that should be coming from elsewhere. So let's get into a good standing posture, pelvis, rib cage, allow the arms to hang, and allow there to be just a little bit of flexion in that lead elbow there. And then to the top, you can see the player there once again, a little bit more flexion. At impact, it's not too dissimilar to at the top, couple of degrees there. It has straightened a couple of degrees from the top, but again, more flex than it was at addressed. And then through impact to the finish, it's just softening even more. And one point in time, I'm just going to draw you to, is that as the player gets to about here, you'll notice how the lead elbow lines up with that lead rib quite nicely there. And if I go back a couple of frames, so out here where the hands are somewhere in the player's midline, you'll notice that the face angle is somewhat matching close to the spine angle. It hasn't turned over yet. So that player has moved through the shot, got to about here, the face there, and then as the club then it starts to turn a little bit as he gets further into his release. Okay, so he's had a nice amount of control through the shot there, and a lot of that ties into the hand path as well, as far as that you can see that as that lead arm is able to fold there into the finish, that allows the hands to move through and keep the face quite in a, if we use the word stable, it seems to get used a lot, quite stable there. There's not too much action as far as it turning over through the shot. So that's what we see with the PGA Tour player. I hope the points we cover there help you with your awareness of how that lead arm, particularly elbow, could move and how that would impact the hand path and the face. Lots of times You could even take the look that what you see through the hands and arms is happening more because of the way the bigger segment's moving. But I find for players that if you're aware of what you want to achieve moving through the shot there, that can actually help the bigger segments move better earlier in the golf swing. So I hope that for some of you out there, that seems to, well, will prove to be the case. Okay, simple way to train this. I like to just use the Tommy Fleetwood as a visual with his finish, because to decelerate properly, to work well through, you know, glutes, core, scaps, to really decelerate the club properly, you need to be able to allow that left arm to fold. As I mentioned, Tommy Fleetwood's finish is a great visual. So get out there, watch him hit a few, play around in the mirror, slow swings, practice holding your finish, something that I'll do with all players. How you, not just working on everything through backswing into impact, working on your finish is often very helpful as well for players. Get out there and hit a few shots there, feeling like you're almost your Tommy Fleetwood.